The blockchain gaming space is about to get a shock to the system. Why am I saying this? Well, I just finished reading DApp Radar and BGA Games report on the state of blockchain games for 2023, Q3 specifically, and the numbers are shocking. Now, we're also going to discuss what's going on in the traditional gaming space. A major deal has just been finalized that actually has some pretty big implications for some very popular crypto companies. Before we get to that, let's dive into this report. We're going to start with the key takeaways. Blockchain gaming activity in Q3 of 2023 had an average of 786,000 unique active wallets. These are wallets that represent players who enter the game. This is a 12% increase though from the previous quarter. That's pretty decent. Alien Worlds sustained its title as the most popular game of 2023, accounting for over 60% of Wax's blockchain activity. Wax is another blockchain project that I don't really get a chance to talk a lot about. At the same time, they deal with the problem of not having a lot of search interest. I think that's going to change very soon though. Axie Infinity, Gods Unchained, two of the biggest titles in the gaming space right now. They kept their crown, coming in with a volume of $90 million for Axie Infinity and $55 million for Gods Unchained. Overall, Q3 of 2023 saw $600 million in funding. This has pushed the total for the last 12 months to $2.3 billion. $2.3 billion into gaming in a bear market. And from what I have to share with you in the rest of this video, I think that number is going to triple, if not quadruple, over the next 12 months. Let's go into the rest of this report. We're looking at industry dominance by unique active wallets in the DApp ecosystem. A DApp is a decentralized application. These are the apps that live within the DeFi world, the NFT world, the gaming world. In the last 12 months, 45% of the dApps that were created were related to video games. That also contributes to the growth of the gaming space. You'll also see that social apps are showing a slight uptick. Now, if you go to Crypto Slate or CoinMarketCap, you can find categorized list of tokens that are related to these social apps. You can see here that there has been a slight uptick in the last 12 months. What that indicates could be a potential buy opportunity. The traction for these social apps are increasing. So that means that in due time, the value of the tokens associated will also increase in value. NFT-based apps and DeFi apps pretty much remain steady, so the interest is still there. That's good to see. Top 5 Web3 games by transactions volume. So we're looking at the chains that are moving the most money around when it comes to blockchain games. One thing I want to point out to you, 197 million across a very select group of chains. One of you asked me about a secondary list of gaming projects. Well, I'm gonna kind of give you the framework with this information here. So 197 million spread across the top 5 Web3 games by transaction volume. The chains that all of this volume is running through: Ethereum, Ronin, Immutable X, Arbitrum, Clayton, Avalanche, Wax, BNB, and Harmony. So if you're interested in which gaming projects are moving the most money around, there it is for you right there. Gods Unchained, their season 2 launch is actually October 25th, so I'm expecting an uptick in that number for them. And Treasure DAO, very interesting project. This morning, I fished around their website. What they are is the blockchain version of Steam or Epic Games, where they allow you to post your game on their site, and their site connects you to other players. Here's the cool part. Treasure DAO has a token called Magic, and it's listed on Coinbase. So if you want to get involved with what Treasure DAO is doing, there's the token for you. Let's jump over to the next chart. Top 5 gaming blockchains by transaction count. So we're looking at the number of transactions between Q2 and Q3. Wax stayed on top here, 1.28 billion in both quarters. Solana took the biggest L in the last 6 months, down 42% for gaming activity. That's okay to me because I feel like Solana's strong suit isn't necessarily gaming. BNB Hive also took some L's the last 6 months, but up 265% is Scale. Scale is another project I haven't had a chance to put on your radar, but whenever I look into blockchain gaming, you know, everybody has a top 10 list, a top 5 list. Scale is always either number 3 out of 5 or number 6 out of 10. One you want to keep your eye on. And then Polygon, of course, it's no surprise, snug at 6th place. So let's look at where the Web3 investments are going. And according to DApp Radar, it's divided into 3 different sectors. 262 million into infrastructure. So we're talking about publishers and the technology that they use. An example of this would be Immutable and the Starkware technology. So we're seeing investments into the development of those specific verticals. We also have investment firms coming in at 125 million, gaming and metaverse titles 213 million. So we're looking at $200 million going into the development of new IPs, new game titles, and new metaverses. Every time I see that, I call back to South Korea's municipal metaverse. This is a government-run metaverse that they keep adding to. So when people tell you that the metaverse is dead, it's not, it's just sleeping. Investments into Web3 gaming projects. We're looking at the numbers over the last 12 months, and this is the key chart that shows blockchain gaming ain't going nowhere anytime soon. $2.3 billion. But what I want you to pay attention to is the 1.2 billion that came in the depths of a bear market. October of last year, it was a wreck around here. Okay, if you got into crypto this year, understand you're lucky. All right, you missed the worst of the bear market. All right, you missed the worst of it. Looking at Q4 through Q2 of this year, 654, 739, 973, just in Q2. That was almost $1 billion itself. That shows me that even though price is going down, even though search interest is going down, utility is still rising. CoinGecko has a list of names that we're going to get to in just a second that's going to show us who exactly is putting in all of these millions of dollars. Before we get to that, I want to show you a snapshot of the gaming landscape for Web3. Now, what you'll see here: wallets, identity, marketplaces, live ops, analytics, distribution, token issuance, blockchains, cloud, backend, real-time engines, asset creation, and animation. Let's start at the top, wallets and identity. You'll see right away, Engine is scattered all over this board. So Engine is a project you want to keep your eyes on. You can look at this as a confirmation from me. You guys have been telling me about Engine for a number of years. But again, it's one of those projects that suffers from a lack of search interest. So hopefully, as we shed more light on these projects, more people will come, so forth and so on. Now, wallets and identity. One thing that they need to add here is Immutable X's new wallet. This chart comes from Nabic and Forte, and it was published a few months ago. Sequence is another very important wallet provider in blockchain gaming. What's unique about Sequence is that they allow you to set up a crypto wallet for any of their games using your Google account. Now, I know some people are like, whoa, that's a breach of information. I'm not getting involved with that. I understand that. But from an adoption perspective, people are used to setting up a profile with their email. It's like second nature to people now. Sequence gives blockchain game developers the ability to onboard people through that same route that they're already familiar with. So if you're a gamer and you're used to using your email for your Xbox store or your PlayStation store, then this next step will feel natural. And that's going to reduce the amount of time to adoption dramatically. All right. Sequence, they're partnered with Horizon Games. There's some really popular titles. Skyweaver is one of them. You know, when I do have downtime, that's what I play. Also, I want to show you this distribution. Planetarium is the company that distributes Treasure DAO. They support Treasure DAO's infrastructure. And like I said, this is a Steam-like website that allows people to posts their games, and connects with players. So that's good to see those. Ultra is another one. Haven't looked fully into that one yet. Token issuance engine right there. That's what they specialize in. I do understand that engine focuses on the creation of NFTs, in-game items, so forth and so on. What Decentraland used to do, but as with most technologies, the first mover is often not the last one, if that makes sense. So engine, keep your eyes on that. And then you look and you'll see blockchains, Ethereum, Avalanche, Wax, Solana, Ronin, next to scaling solutions, Polygon, Immutable, and Arbitrum. What you're looking at here on this diagram are the projects, the companies that are driving the Web3 gaming space. Last thing I want to show you, a couple more things actually. Cloud backend. You see these three companies? It's Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. So if a company gets tied in with either one of those three, they have that support on the back end. All right. And cloud gaming, it's going to be a very important subject when we talk about what's going on in the traditional space here in just a minute. Lastly, asset creation and animation. If you go to the bottom and you go all the way over to the right, you will see the render token. That shows you that the render network has a very, very special spot when it comes to Web3 game development. So now let's jump over to the report from CoinGecko and look at some specific names and players entering the Web3 space from the traditional sector. Out of the top 40 video game companies, 7 are launching blockchain-based games. These include Take-Two, Nexcon, Bandai Namco, Konami, Krafton, and Ubisoft. 22 of the 40 have Web3 initiatives. And what's most important is that it's the top 3 gaming companies: Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. 11 of the 40 have no presence, and the number 1 company on that list is Activision. I think that's about to change though. So you may not be familiar with what's going on in the gaming space. Microsoft just closed on a deal that they have been working on for almost 2 years. They had to go and deal with regulators here in the United States, in Europe, in the United Kingdom. But as of this week, they got the green light to finalize the deal. However, there are some details. There are some terms and conditions that Microsoft had to abide by in order for this to happen. And here's why I think the Microsoft window just opened up for the gaming space. Let's go over to this article here, courtesy of gamesindustry.biz. Microsoft cleared to acquire Activision Blizzard as UK grants approval. So again, Microsoft had to battle the FTC here in the United States, Europe's regulatory body, and for the UK's Competition and Markets Authority. They have given Microsoft the approval needed to finally acquire Activision Blizzard. However, to address this, Microsoft proposed a modified deal in which it sells cloud gaming rights for all Activision Blizzard's titles, including any new releases for the next 15 years, to an independent third party, Ubisoft. Hold on. The regulator emphasized it would allow Ubisoft to distribute Activision's games under any cloud gaming business model. Hold on. Including multi-game subscription services other than Xbox Game Pass. Hold on. Other cloud gaming providers will also be able to use non-Windows operating systems for Activision's games. Now, you can say, oh, you're pulling with that one. You are pulling at a few strings, but we in crypto, everybody's pulling strings. And on top of that, if you look at the amount of Web3 companies Ubisoft has partnered up with in the last 2 years, Tezos, Crypto.com, AlphaZero, Sandbox, and the biggest one, Hedera Hashgraph. Yeah. Now, a few months back, I said, why is Ubisoft positioning themselves with all of these gaming blockchains, or with these blockchains with a particular focus on gaming? Now it all makes sense. Now, just to add on top of that, Chris Early, who is the Senior VP, Strategic Partnerships and Business Development, they did an interview on October 13th. You can find this on Ubisoft's website, news.ubisoft.com. He conducted an interview telling us what to expect now that this deal is closed and Ubisoft has all the cloud gaming rights. There were 2 questions from the interview that I want to share with you. 1, where will Activision Blizzard's games be available to stream in the future? He says, our expectation is that they will be on Ubisoft Plus, and then we have the rights to be able to license them individually to companies as well. Second question, can you explain why the deal is exclusive in some areas of the world, but not in others? This points to what they had to deal with in Europe. In the European Economic Area, the European Commission required Microsoft to allow cloud streaming services to let anybody who owns the games in that territory to play the Activision Blizzard games via streaming for free. So, not only is this about to electrify the streaming space for gaming, if, let's just say, Hedera wants to launch a title that is compatible with an Assassin's Creed, or let's just say there's a version, an update to Assassin's Creed that connects to a blockchain game, Ubisoft legally has the right to do it now. Now, again, there hasn't been anything solid. There's not an announcement anywhere saying that Ubisoft is about to go full steam into blockchain games. But my point is, the window is open. All right, the Microsoft window. I find that funny. If you don't, I don't care. Well, here's something else, though. Do you remember a couple weeks back, the Microsoft leak, right? We're still talking about the case here. So when it comes to how they had to handle the situation here in the United States, they had to deal with the FTC. And during their battle with the FTC, a series of documents were released. And within these documents, they detail plans for a crypto wallet integration into the Xbox. All right. Now, yes, with the information now being public, they've even come out, Xbox has even come out and stated that things will change a bit. But here's my question. How long had this been in the plans, and how far down the process did you get before these documents went public? I'm just saying, these are all pieces, events, and instances that open the door for other things to come. Now, we're just going to read from the Xbox Leak article because I want you to understand the context here. They say an internal presentation slide from May of 2022 shows that the next-gen Xbox console and surrounding ecosystem would offer users a range of ways to spend money, including in-game economies and a crypto wallet feature. This was first reported by Axios in May of 2022. The only additional context is that the wallet would be an Xbox Microsoft solution rather than an industry solution, suggesting that Microsoft itself will develop it. Microsoft just cornered the entire industry with the Activision deal. They don't need an industry solution now. So what does that tell you? It tells me that, again, the window is open. Blockchain games, they are about to receive a shock to the system, and it's for those reasons. The numbers are hitting. The titles are getting better. As a matter of fact, at the end of the report, which I'll leave a link to down in the description, they give you a list of games that are on the way over the next 6 months. Some of them are being supported by major AAA gaming companies. So, unlike with payments, the payment projects where we have to deal with governments and companies figuring out how they're going to put all this stuff on their books, the gaming industry just opened the door for everything. For everything. You tell me, is blockchain gaming about to explode? I think so.